What's going on, y'all? This your girl Shanae, also known as Nae Monique. I am from BGC season 11, filmed in Miami. And it has officially been 10 years since the show has aired, specifically my episode, when I came onto the scene, came into the mix. This video is for everyone that has been asking for the past 10 years for me to do an experience video talking about everything. My time in the house, the audition process, the reunion, everything that's happened since then, the girls, just everything. You all have a lot of questions, and though things have been answered through different interviews over the course of time, I guess doing a video about my experience from my point of view with my own words is something that I'm assuming hits different. So let's get into it. So we're gonna start with getting on the show. First off, why did I do the show, right? I did the show because I was a fan, like most of us that try out for the show are. I used to watch it all the time, even with my mom, with friends, everything in between, and would always talk about, you know, the things that you would do differently and, you know, all of that. So the year is 2012. I have a friend of mine send me this flyer for Bad Girls Club auditions in Atlanta. And he's like, yo, you should do this. Like, it's so perfect for you. Like, you would be great for the show. Like, your personality, like everything, it would be dope. And I'm just like, I talk about it with my friends. Like, I talk it over with them. Even dropped the bug in my mom's ear. I wasn't about to tell my dad. I was gonna wait until it was actually worth telling him. But everyone was very supportive and just like, I mean, you know, why not? Like, just do it. So I go to the auditions. So for everyone that has the question on how I got on the show, me personally, I went to the auditions. Most of the girls that end up on the show went to the auditions. Like I said, the auditions were being held in Atlanta, Georgia. There were literally probably 10,000 girls there, easy. Like, it was a lot of girls at that audition. Ran into a few girls that I knew. The line was super long. But even with the line being as long as it was and as many people as that were there, it was moving pretty quickly. And once I got inside, I realized why it was moving so quickly. So basically, once you get out of line and you get inside of the actual venue that they're holding the auditions, they take a group of girls up to the second floor of the building that the auditions were being held at. And it's like 7 or 8 girls that sit at a table with a producer, and they give you 30 seconds to say whatever it is that you feel you need to say or that they need to know for you to be on the show. Like, what makes you different? At this point, it's BGC11, right? So it's been 11 seasons, which means at least 70 girls, not including replacements. You know what I mean? So they've heard at this point pretty much any and everything that you can say. You know what I mean? So you really got to come with like some pressure. Like, you got to really like sell yourself. So for me, I'm gonna be completely honest, y'all. This was a long time ago, so I do not remember word for word everything that I said. But I feel like I just gave them the very minimalized rundown of my life at the time. At this time, when I auditioned, I was 21, about to be 22. I was living in a house with like 3 other girls, literally a house. I was working in nightlife. I was dancing. I was bartending. I was dating men. I was dating women. Like, I was just living a very fluid life. And that's kind of all I talked about. You know, I said I was very independent. I've been on my own for a while, you know, and I like to have fun. You know, I'm the socialite. I'm the party girl. At that time, that's very much everything that I was. So yeah, so everyone goes around the table. They say their part. They say their piece. And then after that, you know, the producers basically like, thank you all, you know, for your time. Thanks for coming out. You know, everyone be safe. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is over. So I go to get up and she grabs my arm and she's like, actually, could you hang around for like a few more minutes? And I'm like, yeah, I can hang around for a few more minutes. So she pulls me to the side and she's basically like, I really like you. I think you have a great look. I love everything that you said. Are you available tomorrow to come for a follow-up interview, which would be like your second part of your audition process, where you would come and you would speak to me and a few others in production, just one-on-one, and we could really dig in and start to get to know you. And I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like, I will be there. So that was the first round of auditions. Like, the audition process was extremely long, y'all. Like, it was not a 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 2 week situation. Like, this audition process lasted for like a few months. Like, it was intense because, I mean, I don't know the amount of girls, you feel what I'm saying, that they put up on their board when it comes to picking them for each season, but I'm gonna say that it's probably close to around maybe 15 to 20 girls, right, that actually end up like on the board of, okay, these are who we're gonna shuffle in and shuffle out. Because you have to think, you start with 7 girls and then you rotate in replacements and this, that, and the third. So the process was long because you have to go through all of those girls' lives, basically, to figure out if they're gonna be on the show. It's not something you can do in a few days, trust me. So that was round 1. Round 2 was the follow-up interview, which was the next day. I was there for maybe like an hour and some change. They just basically ask you some more questions. It's way more personal than the first day. It's just you in production. And yeah, they just dig in. So after that, they basically tell you that, you know, if they like you, if they're interested, then you'll get a phone call about, you know, the next steps in the process. And round 3 comes, and round 3 is paperwork. Like, lots and lots and lots and lots of paperwork. Like, literally a stack of paperwork between like work history, like school history, dating history, like questions about your family, your upbringing, like just everything. Like, it was such a thick pamphlet of fucking paperwork. Like, it was so much. Also, in the midst of round 3 and the paperwork, they ask you to do a video basically about your life, like showing your life, what you do, who you are, like your family, your relationship, like your job, whatever you deem interesting enough for them to watch your video and like be locked in. Make that video and then send that in along with all of this fucking paperwork. And that's what I did. My life was extremely lit back then. Like, my life is still lit, but it's lit in a different way. Like, you know, I'm grown and sexy lit. Back then it was real young and ratchet. Like, not the young and restless, young and ratchet. So you shoot that, edit that, send that in along with your paperwork. The next round, which is round 4, is you meet with a psychologist that is provided by the network to basically do like an evaluation on your mental space, your mental health, which a lot of people don't know is done for these types of shows, or at least it was back then. I can't speak on other shows that have come after this, you know, or shows that are going on now. But I remember, I can only speak from my experience. Like, I'm not saying that this is what everyone went through. I'm saying what this is my experience and what I had to go through to get on the show. They flew out a psychologist to Atlanta to meet with me, basically to check on and solidify my mental space, to make sure that I was mentally stable enough to go on a show like this, basically. And that was really interesting because being someone that was a fan, it really made me think, like, did other girls go through this? Because somebody got it wrong in some of these cases. Like, for some of these girls, I don't understand how they passed that round. But that ain't my business. After you meet with him and he clears you, you know, he basically lets the network and production team know that, you know, you're good to go, you're not fucking crazy. That's when round 5, aka the final round of audition process, comes along. Now, round 5 is when they fly you out to LA for your final round of interviews with the big dogs. Like, this is like the big dogs, like the actual casting team. And I was out there for maybe like 2 or 3 days, and they give you like a production assistant, aka a handler. That's how I see them, to basically, like, you know, keep you company, because you fly to LA, you don't know anybody, you know what I mean? It's not like production's hanging around with you. And they basically just make sure that you have everything you need. They get you fed, they get you to and from the interview process and all that. And then after that, it is literally just a waiting game, y'all. I waited for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks with radio silence, like, and that drove me crazy. Like, mind you, in the midst of me waiting for these 2 or 3 weeks, like, BGC had dropped like a mini trailer, like literally it was like 30 seconds of a trailer for the season that I had just auditioned for and went through all these rounds and all these things. So when I see that trailer, I'm like, oh my God, they started filming, I didn't make it. Like, I'm clearly not an original. If you know what I'm saying? Like, they're filming right now. Like, I did not make it, I didn't make the cut. Like, it's crazy. And maybe like 2 or 3 days after that, I got a call from production saying that they had selected me to join BGC11 as a replacement. And I was super excited, but at the same time, I was super confused. Like, how did I get casted as a replacement? Like, it's never giving replacement. It's never giving replace. Like, But teach his own. I just decided, like, you know what? God makes no mistakes. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they need me. You feel me? So I was like, okay, got the call, let's do it. So she's like, I need you to pack for like 2 months worth of time. And we're gonna fly you out like tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely the day after tomorrow. And I'm like, fuck, okay. And she's like, we'll call you and email you with, you know, all of the details, the traveling details, and we'll see you soon. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I hang up the phone and I'm like with my friends, because at this time I'm living in a house with, you know, other female roommates. And I'm like, oh my God, y'all like made it on the show. Like, it's lit, it's lit, it's lit. Like, we already talking shit. Like, y'all gotta come out there and see me. Like, it's lit. Like, like, I just knew life was going to be so unbelievably lit after this. Like, no comment. So yeah, they tell me to pack for 2 months. They tell me they're gonna fly me out. They fly me out to Miami. I get there. Of course, I get picked up from, like, you know, PAs and stuff. Went to the hotel, and I was in the hotel for like a week. In that time, they came in and they went through all of my stuff. Like, they went through all of my clothes, makeup, shoes, everything. And they literally took half my wardrobe, because half my wardrobe had things in it that could not be on camera. Like, when you're filming for certain shows, certain projects, you can't have certain, like, I could not have any t-shirts or, you know, shirts with other celebrities on them. They took all my Marilyn Monroe stuff. I had an Aaliyah and a Biggie and a Tupac t-shirt. They took all of those. I couldn't wear anything with stripes. I couldn't wear anything with like very sporadic patterns. I couldn't wear certain colors because of the green screen. Like, I couldn't wear green, I couldn't wear blue. I couldn't wear anything with logos. Like, I had some Levi jeans, some Levi mom jeans. They were my favorite jeans. They had to take the Levi patch off of the jeans in order for me to keep them. We couldn't wear any of our like Nikes, Dunks, Air Forces because of the check. We couldn't wear like any North Face jackets or Adidas or any, like, if you pay attention to Bad Girls Club and you look at the wardrobe, like, even some people be like, she wore that same dress 6 times during the season. Bitch, they took all of our clothes. They took our clothes. They took like literally half of our wardrobe. So, mind you, these are things that could have been told to us before we flew out there, right? So we could have prepared. You know what I mean? But what do I know? And then also, in the midst of taking wardrobe that doesn't meet certain, you know, standards and rules, they're also going through my makeup brushes, like certain feminine products, soap, deodorants, because they have to strip everything. Now, stripping is not, I ain't talking about Magic City. Stripping in this business means hiding logos, basically. And the way you strip is with black tape. So they were putting black tape on the logos of everything I owned. Y'all. Everything I owned. Everything. They stripped lip pencils, eyeliner, foundation, bronzer, blushes, lotion, body wash, deodorant, razors, like if the razor had like a brand name on it, like perfumes, literally everything. There's nothing that could come in there with a logo. It couldn't say Dove, it couldn't say MAC, it couldn't say Morphe, it couldn't say Maybelline, Revlon, Degree, Secret, like Jergens, Vaseline. Like, we could not have any logos on that show at all. And if you saw a logo, it was from someone that had a direct investment or a sponsorship type situation with the show. Anything else had black tape over it. So that process in its own was like a whole day and a half, low key. Like, cause I had a lot of shit. They told me to pack for 2-3 months, baby. What do you want from me? I had like 4 bags. Like, what do you want from me? I need options. I'm in Miami. Like, mind you, been out there before. Unlike some others, but that's neither here nor there. But I knew the Miami life. I knew what they gave. It gives damn near changing 2-3 times a day. Like, I had a lot of shit. Literally took like two suitcases worth of stuff. Like, I was so annoyed. But that was the process in the hotel. So then, after being there for like 5 or 6 days, almost a week, they finally are like, okay, we're about to get you ready to enter the house. And this is the day that was kind of low-key the most frustrating. Because, y'all, they had me wake up at like 10. Excuse me, to be downstairs and ready by like 11. And I was just up, dressed, makeup, hair done, everything for hours just waiting. And it didn't make sense to me then, but now I know I was waiting because they were trying to sync both me and the young lady that I walked into the house with. They were trying to sync us with coming together and entering the house. I don't know if she knew that she was coming into the house with someone else, but I didn't know. I did not know that I was coming into the house with another replacement until that fucking limo pulled up when I was drinking that very, very strong Henny and Coke. I had no idea. And because of that, I feel like that's the reason that it was just aimless, just walking around, waiting in cars, waiting in sprinters, waiting in limos. Like, it was just so relentless. Like, it was such a long day for no reason. And me and her were both extremely hungry. Like, you know, we had been drinking, but we hadn't eaten. Like, we literally did not eat that whole day, y'all. Like, it was just so much. So of course they link us together. We shoot our scene. We head to the house. And that's when the whole filming, shooting process begins. Now, when it comes to the house, right? No shade. The house was cool. The house was cute. But that house was not a mansion. Do not let these fucking shows gas y'all's head up. I have found bigger houses than that on Airbnb for me and my homies when we go to Miami, which is almost every year. That house was not a mansion. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, the biggest kicker about that house, honestly, was that it was on the water. It had a dock, you know what I mean? It had a pool, it had a jacuzzi. It had all those things that would make it a multi-million-dollar home. But the size wasn't necessarily given that. It was like, what, 3 bedrooms? Like, it was 3 bedrooms, a half bath. There was only 1 shower in that house. Like, it wasn't a mansion, but it was cool. It was cool for what it was. So being in the house, there were a lot of rules. Obviously, as you all know, we're not allowed to bring our cell phones in. They tell us like the day prior to going to the house that we need to write down whatever numbers and emails that we may need during the duration of filming, because the only way we would get our cell phones is if it's an absolute emergency and there's a number that we forgot, which in those cases, production would be right there when they came and gave us our phones anyway, or when we were leaving the house. Those are the only two situations where you would have your phone or be given your cell phone back. Everything that we do is watched. Everything we do is watched. There's no privacy, no private moment in the Bad Girls Club house, like ever. Everything we write on the computer, they can see. Everything we say on the phone, they can hear. It's really super annoying too, because like every 5 to 10 minutes on the phone, there would be this automated voice that came on and be like, you're being recorded by, you know, the network, and it would name like the network and this, that, and the third. And one time I was on the phone with my bank, y'all, and that motherfucking automated voice came on. Do you know the bank hung up on me? The bank hung up on me. Why? I'm so annoyed. Like, it was so annoying. But there was 2 phones in the house. There was a phone for us where we could talk to our people, and then there was a production phone that only rang when production was trying to reach someone in the house. And usually that phone rang when like we're in trouble. Like, I remember that phone rang for me because one time I was emailing one of my homies and I was telling him about the experience, and they literally called me and was like, the things that you're writing in that email right now go against your contract. Like, you can't tell him that stuff. And that's when I realized, like, oh shit, they can see everything I'm saying on the fucking computer. Like, this is jail, low key. Like, so when it came to going out and about in the house, it was a little difficult. We had a binder that had a list of places that we were allowed to go to because of the already discussed and agreed upon situation between the show and these places. It would be like shopping malls, shopping plazas, restaurants, bars, lounges, clubs, you know, places to do activities and stuff like that, like zoos and whatever. It had a list of places that were already kind of squared away and checked off and approved for filming, which made things a little easier. And then there were places, of course, that we weren't okayed and weren't, you know, signed off and agreed to go there for filming. But of course, you know, you're there for that amount of time. You're in Miami, you're experiencing it, you want to go to different places. So that kind of became like a little bit of an annoying thing, because every time we went to a place that wasn't cleared for filming, we literally had to have every single person in there sign a release. And if they didn't, they would have to get their face blurred. Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but in the television world, face blurring is expensive. It's not cheap. So whenever we went to a place and people didn't want to sign away like their release, it caused a problem. Like, it was a lot. Overall, filming in Miami wasn't like a bad experience. For the most part, people were cool. Of course, it wasn't the Miami that I experienced. When I did this show, like I said, I was 22 when I started filming, when I actually started the filming process. When I auditioned, I was 21. I was 22. The first time I went to Miami, I was like 19. And I experienced the real Miami. This situation, this show, that was not the real Miami. Like, we had a curfew. Hear me one more time. We had a curfew. We had to be out of the club by 2 a.m. 2:15 at the latest. And then if we had company over, if we weren't giving them a show, then the company had to be out by 4. What that means is that if we weren't fucking, our company couldn't stay. Our company had to leave by 4 a.m. if we wasn't clapping cheeks. Which is crazy if you think about it. It's really giving pimp. Like, we can't cuddle. Like, I just gotta fuck. It's wild out here, bro. It's wild. A lot of people ask me questions about, like, if we got paid. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not doing much of anything for free. Like, of course we got paid. Now, did we get paid well? Did we get paid what we're worth? Especially with how big the show is and, you know, how many seasons we, you know, at this point, like I said, I was season 11. No, we didn't get paid what we probably should have. But we're young. This is for a lot of us, this is our first, like, big opportunity in the industry. We don't know no fucking better. Filming BGC, I was making a weekly pay of what I got nightly back at home. I'm just gonna go ahead and let that sink in. I'm gonna tell y'all the amount, because at this point, it's 10 years later, I don't care. But it was giving pennies, yeah. On Bad Girls Club, my season 11, can't speak for anybody else, we got $500 a week. And we had to pay for our own groceries. We had to pay for our own food. The only thing that they took care of was liquor. And most of the sections and VIP bottle service and things of that nature that we did on the weekends were sponsored through the show. Like, you know, like, work it out, like, hey, if we film at your club, you know, you'll comp the bottles and stuff for free. And it's like, yeah, like, you know, this is a nationally syndicated television show. Like, absolutely. Like, it's a win for both parties, really. But, yeah, that was our pay. $500 a week for the duration of filming. And for the actual reunion, we got $750. $750 for the reunion. And we were out there for the reunion for, I think, like 3 days. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4. I think it was 3. I feel like we were there. The first day we got there, that day we were allowed to chill. The next day we filmed a little bit, and then the next day we filmed the actual reunion. So I feel like it was 3 days. We got $750 for that. And then another fun fact when it comes to money, in the Bad Girls Club house, when you break certain rules, you get fined. So, for instance, I give the cameraman attitude, or I curse out the cameraman. That could be like a $50 fine. That could be like a $100 fine. It just depends on how big the fine is, how big the disrespect is, how froggy production is feeling. Like, who knows? So me personally, I never got into a production because y'all not about to be cutting into my check, honey. It's already pennies. It's already giving pennies. Me and production was besties, okay? I ain't cutting my damn money. Sorry. It's just not happening. This is gonna be like the rough part of this video. We're gonna dig into my experience editing. My experience in the house ended, as most of you know, violently. I was there for about a month and maybe like 10 days. I literally feel like I only had like 2 more weeks left in the house. But y'all, this day was literally my breaking point. I knew from the moment I woke up that some shit was gonna go down that day. Like, I literally did not have a drop of food that whole day. And I wasn't even hungry, like I didn't have a headache, like I didn't have one drop of liquor, one drop of food, nothing. Like I just knew that some shit was going to take place. At that point, no one was really fucking with me in the house. People were, you know, picking fights with me, being distant, being standoffish, talking about me. It was just a whole bunch of, you know, weird, catty, petty shit that niggas was doing in their early 20s. I did end up getting into a very large altercation with a few of the girls that were in the house with me. That fight lasted longer than it was perceived to be through editing. I was in that room for quite some time. It really is a blur, honestly and truly. Like, even when I get clips of my fight sent to me or edited, or I get tagged, it's literally the most cringy thing in the world. Not just my fight, like my season in general. Watching myself on that show, literally the most cringy thing. Like, ugh. As most of you have already seen the video, the fight, I'm sitting on the bed, I get pushed, I push her back, and then it just kind of goes from there. People start running in, people start jumping in, between people jumping in to hit me, people trying to jump in to separate it, to break it up, security's in there, cameramen in there, productions in, like, it was so much chaos, y'all. What a lot of people don't know is that literally while this is happening, my friends were outside of the house. I had told my friends not to come to the house. We had all left. We had all just came from the club, and there was a lot of tension. There was a lot of static. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are my actual friends from home, and they're there because we were throwing a pool party that weekend. This was literally like the Friday before the pool party. The pool party was that Saturday. So all my people are in town, and it's just tense. Like, there's so much tension because they know, I've told them that these girls aren't fucking with me. Like, they done wrote on my picture. They've, you know, isolated me. They have, really pretty much like just turned this whole experience left. You feel what I'm saying? So I felt the tension at the club. So I'm like, no, I do not want y'all to come back to the house. I found out the next day that production went behind me and told my friends to come to the house. Even though I told them not to come, production went behind me and told them to come. They wanted some shit to get going, but you have to understand, like, the reason, and I knew I was going to either get into a fight or get jumped. I knew it was going to be one of those two things. Like, you could just feel it. My friends ain't on the show. My friends are not on the show. They don't have no rules that they need to abide by. They don't have to worry about getting kicked off or getting, like, they don't give a fuck about none of that shit. So why are you inviting them to the house? Oh, you think, okay, nah, this ain't that. Like, they was ready to fight the day before. And that's what's crazy, is that I don't even remember if that whole thing was shown, but the day before, when the girls came back to the house and we were all sitting on my bed, and for whatever reason that was an issue, and they was like, why don't y'all come downstairs? My friends was like, yeah, let's go downstairs. Like, they was like, shit, like, what's it giving? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't know what the energy was. They like, all right, what they want us to come downstairs for? They literally went downstairs. We sat there for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Niggas asked us to come downstairs, not to speak to us, not to say anything. It was weird. Then the next day with the club and everything, I tell them not to come. Production tells them to come anyway. They come, they're waiting outside. Production never came to the car to check them in because of the chaos that was going on inside the house. Whenever somebody comes to the house, they have to get checked in. They have to turn in their cell phones. They have to sign paperwork. They have to get mic'd. It's a process before you get into the house. It's not like you just pull up and get out the car. It's not like that. We're filming. They never even started that process because there was pure chaos going on in the house. As y'all saw, the moment we pulled up and hopped out of that limo, I went straight upstairs. They followed me upstairs. I got into the room. I got to the bed, barely took my shoes off. They was right there in front of me. So by the time my friends pulled up, we're already, you know, we already have this situation going on because they followed the limo. Like, they were literally right behind us. Production never got a chance, bro. The moment we went in the house, it was up. So while I'm getting jumped, my friends are outside. That is like a truth that I feel like still to this day makes their blood boil. Because it's like, they were right there, bro. Like, and y'all told them to come. And just never got a chance to let them in. And so after the fight, I'm sitting on the bed, and what a lot of people don't know, because of editing, I wanted to fight again. But I was told that I had to go to a hotel. And my exact words were, if I go to a hotel, I'm going home. What am I going to a hotel for? I never really understood that concept. Like, that was one part of Bad Girls Club I never understood it. Like, y'all get us to this point. And now that we're here, you want to send one of the people in the altercation, or if not both, to a hotel to cool down? That don't make sense. Me personally, if this is what you telling me is like my home for the time being, nobody's about to run me about my shit. Like, I'm about to sleep here tonight comfortably. What are we talking about? I was told that I had to go to a hotel. So the clip that y'all saw was after they told me that. Like, whatever y'all gotta do to make sure that don't nobody come fuck with me while I pack my shit, do that. Cause I ain't deserve that. And if y'all not gonna let me run it the way that I want to, then I'm out. So literally that night I packed up all my things. It probably took, and I had a lot of shit. It probably took me like 15, 20 minutes, maybe. I just threw everything into my bags, zipped them up, and was out. And I called my friends, and they were pissed. Like, they were so mad. They were like, bro, why are you leaving? I was like, bro, I just got jumped. Like, it was like, we was outside. I was like, well, it is what it is. So we left, and I would say if I could go back, I probably would have handled that particular situation a little differently. Only because, like I said, the very next day we were having that pool party and all of my people were in town. So I should have stayed in the house. I should have went to the hotel and cooled down and then brought my happy ass back to the house for that pool party with all my people and had a time. That's exactly what I should have did. But I didn't do that. So that ended my BGC time in the house. And it was a really eye-opening situation. Like, I already kind of had trust issues. But after that shit, I don't trust none of y'all bitches. I don't trust none of y'all bitches. I trust my bitches. I don't trust y'all bitches. Period. And it takes some time. You can ask anybody in my friend group. It takes some time before I consider you one of my bitches. Because of those bitches. No disrespect. Respectfully. Motherfuckers was literally doing me super dirty. Like, niggas is talking about me in their interviews, in their green screen interviews. They're talking about me while wearing my jewelry, while wearing my earrings in real life. But it is what it is. So then I leave the show. I'm out. Go back home. Fast forward to maybe like a few weeks later. It's time to shoot the reunion. So I get a call from production about the reunion, saying that it's gonna be shot in LA. And the dates, basically who I'll be filming with, who I currently have a problem with, who I don't have a problem with. You know, they're trying to set up the scene basically of how this situation is going to go. I call up my manager at the time. I call up my stylist. They get me together. Custom everything. Dress, hair done, you know, jewelry, like everything. Cause I want revenge, but I also want to step, right? And everyone on my team, everyone in my corner is basically telling me to be on some classy shit. I'm trying to be on some other shit. But everybody's like, no, you're too pretty, you're too this, you're too bossy, like da-da-da. So I'm like, okay, cool. Decide to try to go the godly way, wear my all-white dress, you know what I mean? Try to do, you know, do a little something. Touchdown in LA. I link up with a few of the girls. Some of us, most of us reconcile, apologize, you know, speak on the things that were said, speak on the things that were done, move past it, move forward. Some of us, not all of us. They have the group split between some of those girls and us. We start the filming process. I meet up with one of the people from my season who also lived in Atlanta. We have our scene. We link up with some other people from our season. We have that scene. So it's basically the first film day is just like scene, right? The next day is the actual reunion. So we get there, we're in hair, we're in makeup. And mind you, y'all, this is like, this reunion day is such a long film day. And I feel like I can say that for every season. Reunion day literally be like a 12, 13 hour film day. It is so long. Like we get there like 8 a.m. Mind you, ain't no fucking food in these rooms, but there's gonna be liquor. And some of us literally started drinking when we got there at 8 and 9 a.m. What the fuck else is there to do? So we go through hair and makeup. The other girls are banging on the dressing room walls because they hear us talking and stuff. So it's already tension before we even step on the stage. I step on the stage, you know, I'm talking to the host, Tanisha. You know, I'm telling her my experience. She's asking me if I regret not being there for a fellow castmate. I'm telling her how I feel about that, you know. I'm speaking about the things I did, why I did them, you know, speaking on the people that I felt like did me dirty, did me wrong, backstabbed me, betrayed me, people that were being fake. You know, I was being called fake, I was being called a follower, all these other things, you know, it is what it is. And for the most part, the reunion was going really smooth. You feel me? I feel like I did a good job at speaking about, you know what I'm saying, my standpoint, where I was. I felt like I was doing a good job of showing class and poise and, you know, trying to be on like some other shit. And then it happened and I ended up getting swung on at the reunion, and that infuriated me. I honestly feel like that particular fight was pointless. Me and this person didn't really have a particular issue. But of course, with interviews that had been had, things that had been said, you know, hearing certain things, you know, being said about me, her hearing certain things being said about her, it was just a lot. So I felt like she possibly could have felt like she needed to do that, which is understandable to a certain extent. I just wouldn't have done it that way. Like, you know, if I'm coming, like, you gonna see me, you gonna feel me. Like, I'm not gonna sneaky, but you know, it is what it is. But after I was swung on in my godly white dress, it was over with. There was no calming me down. A lot of people always speculate as to what happened backstage. Nothing happened backstage. We were not able to get towards each other. I mean, we didn't even get close to one another. They really tried their hardest to calm me down, but there was no calming me down, y'all. Like, it takes a lot to get me mad, but putting your hands on me unwarranted is definitely 100% without a doubt the biggest cheat code you could have. Like, once I'm there, I'm at a 10, all I see is red, it's over with. Like, you literally gonna have to dip me into an ice bath. That's the only way I'm gonna cool down. Like, it just wasn't happening. And y'all saw it. Like, even like when I did get backstage, I was like, put me back on stage. Like, I was not letting up, y'all. So a lot of people were like, oh, she didn't go back on. No, they wouldn't let me back. I would not calm down. And at that point, with that, being that angry, being that irate, I was a liability. So I wasn't allowed to go back on stage. That's the reason I never returned back to the reunion, which was understandable. But at the time, I really felt like y'all just keep playing me. Like, y'all been playing me. Like, it was just so crazy. So overall, when it comes down to it, Bad Girls Club for me was not the most enjoyable experience. If I had to put it on a scale when it comes to my actual experience in the house, like filming the show, from the start of it when I walked in with my other castmate to the end of it when I left the reunion after filming, I would give it a solid 6 out of 10. I give it a solid 6 out of 10. How I would rate my experience after the show and all of the things that came from it, all the opportunities, all the, you know, money that was made, all of the people that I was able to meet, all the rooms I was able to get into, all of the you know, projects I was able to work on, like everything that came from the seed of Bad Girls Club, definitely a 10 out of 10, for sure. So because of that alone, I'm going to always be thankful for the show. I'm going to be thankful for the platform. I'm going to be thankful for the experience, even if it wasn't an enjoyable one, because it changed my life. And that's just the truth about it. That's literally just the black and white truth. Like, it changed my life, for sure. Life was extremely lit after that. Especially with my experience and what I went through in the house and everything. I got a lot of love. Still to this day, I get a lot of love. Still to this day, I get recognized. Still to this day, it's something that people want to talk about with me, want to know about. They want to get inside of my head and know about my experience and all of those things. So I will never, ever say that I regret doing the show. I will always say that I wish I had a little more guidance during that time. And I'll also say that had I maybe believed in myself a little bit more as it pertains to my talents and the things that I was actually doing actively in the industry, I possibly wouldn't have even done the show. But I do genuinely feel like everything happens for a reason. I don't feel like anything about that was a mistake. And at the end of the day, no matter which way you look at it, I was picked out of thousands of girls. And that's not something that many people can say. I'm a part of something that will live on forever, that will forever have a huge fan base, that will forever, I mean, not to do too much or, you know, make it bigger than what it is, but genuinely, if we're really talking about it, like, Bad Girls Club will go down in history. Like, it's never gonna go away. It's literally a print in a lot of our childhoods. Like, I was a fan before I got on the show. You feel what I'm saying? And now there are fans from new shows, new spinoffs that are now actively, you know, on the scene and making waves that, you know, have a new fan base that are going back to the old days, into the old, you know, shows and the old seasons and finding us there. You know, it's just something that will never go away. And I'm very thankful for the positive that's come from it. And I always will be. So, shout out to 10 years. I am never talking about this shit again. It has literally been a decade. Great things have come from it. And great things will follow it. So thank you guys for rocking with me for over a decade. Y'all are awesome. And thank God for growth. Signing off. So right now I'm about to get into some of these questions that some of y'all had. The first one is gonna be from Jade _ and the 1.3s. Y'all gotta do better with these Instagram names. There's a lot going on. But shout out to you, girl. Thanks for the question. She wants to know, how was the house and was it different than they portrayed it on TV? Yes, it was a lot different than they portrayed it on TV. The house literally, like, if I had to describe it, in the most simple way, it was like being on house arrest. You can't leave. You can't come and go as you please. You have to ask permission to do everything. Overall, like the house itself, I would give it like a strong like 7.5 out of 10. And yes, it was very, very different than what we've been watching on TV for years. Oxers. This question is from Oxer. OXSXAR. Y'all are really confusing me. But shout out to you for the question. What happened between you and Benzie? Did you beat her ass off camera? No, I did not. Me and Benzie did not get to each other when we ran backstage. It was way too much security, way too much camera people. Like it was just chaos. It was literally just us screaming at each other. We never came into blows backstage at all. She didn't touch me, I didn't touch her. Okay, BGC spoilers, shout out, asked, did you get a call for BGC 15, BGC 13, and All-Star Battle 2 or 3, which are all spinoffs of Bad Girls Club? And the answer is yes. I got a call for, I believe BGC 15 was the sister season, if I'm not mistaken. I'm almost pretty sure it is. I did get a call for that. They interviewed me and my stepsister. I did not get a call for BGC 13, Redemption. I did get a call for Bad Girls Club All-Star Battle. I considered All-Star Battle. I just wasn't chosen. And I considered BGC 15 and just wasn't chosen. Which in hindsight, I feel like was for the best, for sure. But All-Star Battle, I would have been down for, honey, because I was an athlete growing up, all through elementary, middle, and high school. I still like to work out. And honey, we talking competitive games for $100K. Throw me in, coach. Okay. BG Spoilers asked another question. How long did you film for? I filmed for a month and like 10 days. Like I said, there were maybe 2 more weeks worth of filming left, but I was over it, so yeah. BG Spoilers also asked, are there any unaired fights or heated moments that we never saw? And off the top of my head, I'm gonna say no. Like overall, honestly, if I'm being completely honest and transparent, our season really didn't have that much conflict outside of what y'all saw. Like, for the most part, we were extremely chill. Like, there was even a point in time where production got frustrated with us because we didn't have anything going on. We didn't have any fights. Excuse me. We didn't have any fights. We didn't have any drama. We didn't have any tension, any conflict. And I remember them literally walking into the living room because we were like playing spades or something. And they were like, yeah, this is boring. Like, y'all aren't giving us anything to put on TV. And I was just like, whew. Baby, BGC Spoilers got all the questions, honey. BGC Spoilers also wants to know, what did Gigi mean by it's her VIP in the club? What she meant was that particular night, her people that came in town from New York, they had bought that section. Those were her people's section. They bought that obviously for her. So that particular night, she was telling the other castmate, you know, you can't be in my VIP, because it really was her VIP that night. So that's what she meant by that. Jay is the truth _ shout out to you, asked me, what made you go on the show in the first place, and do you regret anything from doing the show? I went on the show because I was a fan, and I honestly just wanted to see how far I would get in the audition process. Just to fuck around and make it the whole way through, which is wild. Do I regret anything? No, I don't regret anything when it comes to me doing the show. I genuinely feel like everything that happened in my life happened exactly the way that it was supposed to. And everything that came after the show, all of the benefits that I have received over the past 10 years because of the show, all the seeds that it planted, everything, it all made this month and some change of filming worth it. Like, I did not work an actual like clock in, clock out job for like 3 or 4 years after the show. That's how much I was able to capitalize off of it. So, no regrets here, honey. Cole Cooper, shout out to you, asked me, have you met Mimi, Tess, and Haley, aka the girls you weren't in the house with? I haven't met any of them. The only time I ever saw Haley was on the show for the reunion. That was the only time I ever saw her. Mimi, I met via Instagram, and Tess I've never met or spoken to or anything at all. Cole Cooper asks also, did you ever meet Sarah from your season? Yes, I did meet Sarah from my season. Me and Sarah filmed the day before the reunion together. We both lived in Atlanta at one point. We would run into each other in Atlanta, usually during like industry-esque type of environments, different events. We ran into each other on the Wildin' Out set. We ran into each other on a music video set. We've gone to the club together. Sarah's cool. She's definitely cool. We actually, the last time I saw Sarah was a few years ago during that OnlyFans Bad Girls Club rebirth situation. Basically right before Lemmy got a hold of it and took it to Zeus. That's the last time I saw her, was during that time, like right before the Zeus takeover. Shannon Claremont, with a 0 instead of an O, shout out to you, asked, what was it like walking in with another new girl? I mean, it was cool. It didn't matter to me either way, whether I walked in with someone or I walked in alone. The objective was always about me. It was always about me coming into the house. So I was gonna do that regardless if I came in alone or with someone or not. But again, I didn't find out I was coming in with someone until she pulled up in that limo. So there's that. Scorpio Lawrence, shout out to you, asked, would you ever consider doing baddies or returning to television? Oh, you know what's so crazy? I get this question probably way more than people would think. I actually got this question earlier today. I literally got this question earlier today. If I would do baddies. Where I am right now, I'm gonna say no. And my reasoning is because I don't think that I am stable enough to be in that type of environment with that many people. Like right now, I think there's like 15 people that were casted. And I think at least 11 people right now, 11 or 12 people are on that bus or on that show at the moment, actively filming together. That is so much. Like even in Bad Girls Club, there were only 7 girls in the house at a time. Y'all got 12 girls. That's so much. That's so much. And just from the cast that I've seen, I haven't really been actively watching any of the seasons, but just from the cast that I've seen of this most recent season, though, that's a lot of personality, bro. Like y'all got Natalie and Sky and Camilla and Suki and Rolly and T, and y'all got a lot of personality on that show. And naturally, with that many women, it's going to naturally be conflict. But I think that the thing about it is being in that environment, the conflicts go from 2 to 9 in such a high-speed pace, and there's no real resolution ever found. Because even when you feel like people have resolved their issues on the show airs, and now that same night, those issues that you literally just watch people work out on the show are now being rehashed on social media. Now, we just worked some shit out in front of millions of people, but now we're arguing about the shit that we supposedly worked out a month ago via social media. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for none of that. And really and truthfully, my patience for and tolerance for bullshit has gotten less and less and less as I have gotten older. Y'all saw back then on Bad Girls Club, I tolerated a lot of bullshit. I tolerated a lot of disrespect. I had a really high tolerance and patience for bullshit and for disrespect. Because I just felt like, oh no, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just was always trying to be the bigger person. I was always trying to stay away from conflict because that's what I knew so well. I knew violence, I knew combativeness so well. I tried to steer away from it. I thought that's what the point of that platform was. Stupid ass me. Now, my tolerance for that is very low. Like, I would probably be more interesting to watch now because of my tolerance being low. But because my tolerance is low, I don't want to even put myself in that predicament. Because 12 years ago, 10, 11 years ago, y'all couldn't calm me down to get me back on the reunion stage. And my tolerance for shit like that was way higher than it is now. But once I see red, there's no coming back from that. And that was then. No. No, bro. Like, I really don't think that I'm made for that anymore. I just really don't. Now, in the same breath, okay, because I ain't no fool. If the check is checking, maybe. Who knows? Let me got the check. Let me got the check. Zeus is $1 billion network, okay? Let's be very clear. Very rich, okay? You write me a 6-figure check, I might film for 2 or 3 weeks. Who knows? But as of right now, I'm not made for it, y'all. I'll really hurt somebody. For your second half of your question, would I return to television? Yeah, absolutely. Reality TV, I just don't know. That part I don't know. I'm shaky on. But television as a whole, absolutely. You'll see me soon. JM.XXA, shout out to you, asked why you ain't pop Stephanie right then and there. Cause I didn't want to. She's little. No disrespect, like not trying to be funny at all. But y'all remember when I actually stood up from that bed after she had pushed me 2-3 times? I was towering over that girl. Like, I did not want to fight that girl. Like, and this is not me being shady, but I don't find enjoyment in fighting people that I feel like I can beat. Like, I don't find enjoyment in that. Now, if you touch me, it's up. That's why when she had pushed me that final time, I rocked her chest. You feel what I'm saying? And then when she slapped me in my face, I, hit her with the right. Once you touch me, it's up. But I just be trying to wait until literally that last second before I take it there. Because, again, you get me there, it's really, really, really fucking hard to get me back, bro. It's like I'm possessed. Don't nobody want to deal with no possessed people? Dina Anchi? Dina Anchi? I'm so sorry if I'm botching y'all Instagram names, but baby, it's a lot going on. Shout out to you for your question. You asked, are you and Janelle cool? Am I cool with Janelle? I have no problem whatsoever with her. I wouldn't necessarily say that we're cool or that we're friends or even that we're cordial because we haven't seen each other in many, many years. I wouldn't even know how that interaction would go. Me personally, she walk into a room, we make eye contact, I'm gonna give like a, like a little smile, like a little faint little smile, you know what I mean? I might even say, hey, you know what I mean? There's no beef. I genuinely don't have an issue in any way, shape, or form with that girl or any other girl on my season. So, yeah. And she looks great. Like, Janelle looks really good. Alrighty, so those are all the questions that you guys had. I really appreciate all of you for tapping in with me and being involved in my very first YouTube vlog BGC experience video. Okay, I really want to thank everyone that tunes in, that taps in with me, that's been locked in with me for all of these years. It's been a lot going on. I've done so much in the span of 10 years, but that's a whole nother situation for a whole nother video. Life has been very lit since the show. Again, I do not regret it. I'm very thankful for it. I'm very thankful for growth. Thank you all for rocking with me, and until we meet again, it's Nae Monique, honey.